Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you've not been here before. I did a Megan Fox makeup look a couple of months ago. It is quite a heavy look, which I love for nights, but I was inspired to do a more natural Megan Fox look. Now, when I say natural, I mean natural for a celebrity or natural for the red carpet. So we're going to go in with a really beautiful but very wearable for daytime and for night Megan Fox inspired look. So I'm going to start off with my L'Oreal Collagen Cream. This is one of my favorite products to prep my skin. If you do have dry skin, as I do, you might find that a really nice, thick, moisturizing cream works a lot better than just a primer on your face. Want all of that makeup to really be smooth and flawless. I'm going to go in with my Giorgio Armani. This one is in the shade 4. It's a little pale for my skin tone right now. Clearly quite a difference between my hands and my face. And I am going to mix some of my L'Oreal True Match in the shade C56 in there. And I am going in with my fingers today. I often use a nice big flat brush. But I do want the makeup to be, as I said, a little heavier. I hesitate to use that word because I certainly don't want it to look heavy. But by applying it with the fingers, you do get more product on your face than you would if you just went in with a brush or a beauty blender. So I'm just spreading this somewhat evenly over my face. And once it's at this level of spread out, go in with the beauty blender, and that's going to take it from looking like a mask to looking like skin again. Okay, much better. Now, as you can see, this is still paler than, let's say, my hand. If you start trying to go from very pale skin on your face to matching your hands, it can go badly. Just often doesn't look very natural. So I like to pick kind of the color of, my shoulders, which have some color but not as deep. And then the rest we're going to go in with bronzer to match. And if you don't have that problem, which I'm sure a lot of you don't even worry, just match your skin tone. Alright, next I'm going to go in with the Rare Beauty bronzer stick. This one is in the shade Good Energy. Now, of course, Megan Fox has beautiful bone structure. So I'm really going to try to highlight these cheekbones, and best way I have to do this is to scrunch up your face so that the cheekbones pop out. So I go like this so that I can see right where that cheekbone is. I'll take a little down the nose. She has quite a delicate nose. Mine is quite a bit more pronounced. For this one, I'm using a nice, fairly big flat brush. To me, this is the best way to blend a contour. It really feathers it out. Don't want to look like you have big stripes on you, especially when you're going for a heavier contour. And as I've said, you always want to go upwards. If you drag that contour down, it's going to look like your skin is kind of sagging, which I'm going to assume is not the look most of us want. And I'm just going to start my blend on the nose. This is a fairly big brush for the nose, so I'll finish up with the Beauty Blender. And just lightly dab that over any spots where it might not be perfectly blended. So now let's move on to blush. I am using the Rare Beauty blush in Love. This is a beautiful, deep, I call it a brick red, and it's one of my favorite of the Rare Beauty blushes. With a deep color like this, you only need a tiny amount. In general, the darker the blush is compared to your skin tone, the less you want to use. So if you have a deeper skin tone, you can probably get away with using quite a bit more. When I use the color Bliss, this is a much softer pink. It's really almost the same shade, even though it's a different color, but the same shade as my skin, meaning the same level of light to dark. So I can use quite a few swipes of that to blend in. This one is quite a bit deeper, so we just want a touch of that. And now I've cleaned off my flat brush, and I'm going to gently start blending this in. And I find to get a really natural looking blush, I just start my initial blend, then I have my handy makeup wipe on my lap. I give it a little swipe to get the blush off there, and then I keep blending, and this allows you to really feather those edges, because you have the color, but it's not, it doesn't become clown-like, which has been a problem with me with blush in the past. It's just there and that's all you see. This way it really gives the impression that you just have a bit of color in your cheeks, and it's very natural. Alright, next up I'm going in with the concealer. And this one is NYX, the HD Studio Photogenic Concealer in the shade CW00 or Alabaster. A little easier to remember. This one just has a light shade with yellowish undertones. And I'm using this more as a contour than a concealer at this point. The makeup I already have on has covered most imperfections. But I do want to get a little more of that Megan Fox bone structure. So this just helps really bring out those cheekbones, narrow the face a little, narrow the nose, and bring up the eyes, because she does have very beautiful upturned eyes and mine are downturned. Alright, so now we're getting more of that Megan Fox look, face shape, and it is a little bit heavier than I would wear day to day, but certainly not a huge amount of makeup that makes you look crazy when you're up close to someone. So let's get nice and close here. You can still see the imperfections in the skin, my little freckle poking through, little blemish, but it is quite beautiful. And despite the skin texture, which I think is beautiful on everyone, we are not totally blurred out. It is a very natural and fresh looking face. So the last thing I want to do is just go in with my Absolute HD Flawless powder. I tap this on with a nice big brush before blending. And this, I find, gives a really beautiful finish. And then with the excess on here, I'm just going to tap a little extra beneath my eyes. And I'm going to use my Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette today for the eyes. As I said, this is natural, but it's also glamorous. So my very well-loved palette here. I'm going to start with this tannish shade. This is called So Boogie, which I'm still not certain I'm pronouncing correctly. I did look it up, but I've said it wrong so many times that now I can't remember what's right and what's wrong. And this shade is just going all over the lid. Applying that with a nice small brush. This is a double-ended brush that I love. This one came with a Naked Urban Decay palette. I love when they give you a nice brush to go with the eyeshadow. Alright, so next here is Cocoa Truffle, a deeper shade of brown. Same brush here. And I'm just going to create a V shape in the outer corner of my eye. Going just shy of halfway across the crease, and then down into a point to connect it to my lash line. So it's a lopsided V, but it does have that V shape. So now I'll flip over to my fluffy brush and give that a nice blend. And now let's go in with our black shadow. This is a nice matte black and a really fine angle brush, a nice strong one. This one is from Bare Minerals. It's called Expert Shadow and Liner, but I did get it between 10 and 15 years ago. I'm not sure if they still have this exact one, but it is my favorite. And now I'm going to take my brush and I'm just gently wiping it against my makeup wipe here, giving it a little bit of moisture, and that's going to really help this powder cling to it. And I'm just starting off by running this powder all along my top lash line. And now let's go for the bottom. She often lines all the way around her eyes. But I'm going to take this inner corner very lightly. Don't want a thick line there, just something to accentuate the eye a little bit more. And now let's concentrate on those Megan Fox siren eyes. So I'm going to take my powder and gently bring it out. I am going almost horizontally. And what I love about a good siren eye is that it really goes with any eye shape. As I've said, I have downturned eyes. They are a bit hooded. Siren eyes make a wing so much easier than trying to match a cat eye to the crease in my eyelid. And there we go, simple but beautiful. Next, I'm using the Bad Gal Bang Mascara from Benefit. Now this is my new favorite. Next, I'm just filling in my brows. This is Secrets of the Pharaoh from Ebin in Black Brown. I'm using a very light hand here. Now I'm going to go for a nude lip, going in with a beautiful shade here. This is Natural from Italia Deluxe. Now she's sported many different versions of a nude lip. I think today I'm going to go with one that's almost the same color as my natural lips. And I'm actually going to start off by adding a touch of the Rare Beauty blush to my lips. Just a tiny bit to help that color pop through. I have to say, this feels so beautiful on my lips. It is so light. I might not even want anything else on there. I'm trying to decide. Alright, I think I'm just going to add a little bit of my, this is called Aquaphor. It's a lip repair. It's essentially like a really thick, beautiful, feels good lip gloss. So I'm just going to add a touch of that on top. And this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this one. I do love it. It's reminiscent of her makeup, but it's one of those makeup looks where you still look like yourself, just maybe a more seductive version. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.